Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to our latest podcast or video cast or whatever you want to call it. And today we're in beautiful downtown Massena. How about that? And we're talking with Reggie Cross and John Murray. And to say that you guys have been involved with Massena hockey for a long time is, actually kind of an understatement.
A long time.
Long time, that's
Right, Don?
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about the past. And of course, Reg, you were very instrumental Massena Arena. And I think that's something we really need to touch on today.
Well, I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I was involved on the hockey because Mike and Tommy started when they were 5 years old, and I was superintendent of public works also. So I was on both sides, luckily, and it helped out.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, they were not playing on Massena Arena to start with. Where did they play?
We started Alcoa Field, rink number 1. They had it originally, but then Jack Carroll was involved. He ran Massena minor hockey, and Jack just did a great job. How he found time, I have no idea. We would go over to Cornwall for practices. Longshore, Morrisburg, Prescott, I forget, Maxville. We would practice and play games in Canada.
Yeah.
Plus, we play games, and then within a year or two, we built rink number 2. When I say we, that my DPW crew did most of the work on there. So we had 2 outdoor rinks, but we still travel in games over to Canada to play.
What about the colleges up in Potsdam?
We didn't get, to my knowledge, we didn't get any ice time up there. Not for minor hockey. I don't remember minor hockey ever playing. Of course, Potsdam had their rink at the time. They were ahead of us. Salmon River had their rink also.
Right.
So we did play games there. I don't remember ever practicing there. All the practicing was done in rink number 1 or 2 or over in Canada.
What happens when there's a thaw?
Well,
You didn't do anything.
you waited until it froze again.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
normally, you didn't get that many thaws. Come February, you might get some, but, usually in January, it was cold up here. Yeah. So January is always a good month. February is usually good.
Reggie, it seemed like it was a lot colder back in those days.
There were some cold days over in Alcoa Field, I'll tell you that.
24 below, I remember being in one of those.
And eventually we put heaters in. We built warming places for the players, and we put radiant heat in so they can, because you're out in the ice, it was about 0 some days. I mean, it was cold.
Yeah.
I remember little kids, you'd bring them in, you'd rub their feet, take their skates off and rub their feet and their hands down.
Yep, that's right. That was part of being the.
Well, and I ran off some numbers just before the year before, as far as minor hockey was really big. It probably started in big time in the mid 60s, maybe late 60s. Right. By 72, these are house league. We had 10 teams in the Mosquito League. We had 10 teams in the Squirt League. Squirts are 9 and 10-year-olds. We had 10 teams in the Pee Wee teams. We had 7 teams in the Bantam teams. And you're talking maybe 12 on each team. So you're talking in the neighborhood of 500 kids in the program.
The feeder system for the high school was pretty robust.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why later on, when Holy Family was going, Holy Family had a varsity, Holy Family had a JV, Massena Central had a varsity, Massena Central had a JV team.
Well,
those JV teams were good.
As you remember, when I started covering the games back in '83, and we worked together for 2 years, there was a JV team then.
Oh, yeah.
And Billy Reed was the coach. And they were good, and of course the varsity was outstanding.
Well, you had all these 500 kids that are, growing older. Not all of them stayed, of course.
Right.
But there was a lot of good hockey players.
And hockey's a numbers game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You got to have and we had the numbers. I mean, and of course, that meant there was a lot of demand for a rink. There was a lot of parents.
That's a beautiful segue there, Reg, because I was going to ask you, who came up with the idea for the rink?
I think it was just almost unanimous with, of course, we had some guys like, Jack Carroll was a big pusher and so on, But when you have that many parents, and I think a lot of them got a little sick of staying over at Alcoa Field with their feet in the snow and 0 degrees and so on, and there was a lot of demand, and both the town and village, got together. I think,
I think the Rotary Club was the,
yeah.
and the
in the Rotary
initial
Club,
fundraiser.
they took it over. I don't know what happened, but they took it over, and this had to go back a couple of years earlier.
Well, the two ones that I remember were Frank Levine
Yeah,
and Dr. Smith.
yeah.
And both of those, one was a parent and one was a hockey player, actually.
Well,
Dr.
he's a
Smith.
parent too. He coached.
Yes.
I had Hayden's brother, Bruce and Bob, coach for me.
Oh, okay.
Too, one
Well,
time.
They, Rotary took off.
Yeah,
and
they did.
They raised
They did a
money.
great. Well, in my brochure, they did great funding. The Rotary funds that they got was $220,000.
Wow,
that was
that's-
a lot of money back
Yeah.
in those
That's
days.
a lot of money now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but they did a good job on fundraising.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you can see that plaque down at the arena. There's a lot of names on that plaque. And then, and a lot of them just gave $25, $50, $100. But if you get a few thousand people doing it, it adds up. That was a lot of money to be raised.
So did the money get raised first before the project started?
I think it was during.
During,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Somehow they turned it over to,
yeah, it was all turned over to the village and town.
and then they requested, funds from the Bureau of Outdoor Recreation, right?
That's another thing.
Okay,
The village pursued it. The village and town mostly. I think primarily the village pursued getting a grant through the outdoor recreation, New York State Outdoor Recreation, and they got the grant, but it had to be an outdoor ring. In other words, the sides had to be open, which up here was sort of a crazy rule because the wind blows and it gets down to zero. And I think as soon as the rink was built, or even before, we decided the sides had to be filled in. And that's when we bought these canvas tarps. I'm sure we got them through Simon Klopman, who was a great guy. He did a lot of things that people didn't know. And we bought these tarps, and I think they were there maybe for a year and a half or 2 years. But at least they stopped the wind. And then bleachers, we had bleachers at Alcoa Field, were football bleachers. We brought those over and put the football bleachers in the arena for
Right.
sitting. And everybody knew it was temporary, but temporary was like for a year or two, or more, maybe more than
Right.
that. So, but everybody was happy just to have it inside ring, inside ice. Everybody was as happy as could be, and it turned out the architect was a guy named Akins out of Canton. They're out of business now. Lee Akins. I knew him way back when, and he was the architect. And I think one thing we told him, we do not want a metal building. After spending times at Alex Bay and Potsdam, those metal buildings are just cold. They keep the cold, and they're damp. And we said, one thing, we do not want a metal building.
There's one in Rouse's Point just
Yeah,
like
Rouse's,
that
I've
too.
been there.
Oh,
I've been to
man,
Rouse's Point.
is that cold?
That's another cold. So anyway, they designed the one we got, wooden truss. I'm not sure where they got the idea or what, but it was fantastic in its day, and it's still fantastic.
Well, that's it. People all over the state brag that they've been to Massena Arena. When I talk to the coaches from downstate, the teams that come up, they just walk in and they look up at the banners and they look at the
It's got a warm feeling. That wood gives you a warm feeling.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So the building of it itself, give us a little bit of a view on how that happened.
I think, the design was done, you probably have to go back at least a year before that. In other words, you have to, I think construction started in May of 72. So you have to go back to 71, to hire an architect. They have to go through all their phrases. You have to go to bid. Actually, Danko Construction, no, they did the floor afterwards. Morley was the name of the company. Actually, they're a cousin of Morley's Restaurant.
Okay,
They're
out of
Ogdensburg. They're out of
Yeah.
Ogdensburg.
Yeah.
Morley Construction, they were good. Two guys, Bill and Brock. I remember them, brothers, and they were good. They were good to work with, and they just did a good job. And it took, they started saying May, and it took until February of 73 before the rink was done. It took quite a bit of time.
Reggie, it must have been a mammoth job to get those beams up there.
They come out of South Carolina.
Oh,
I remember them coming up here. They were in, well, of course, they're in halves. And they had a special trailer. And that trailer was probably maybe 2 feet off the ground because they had to clear all the underpasses
yeah.
to bring those things in. They had all these arches, and they were laminated, and they came out of South Carolina. What kind of wood? I'm not sure what kind of wood it was, but
Putting them up
yeah,
must
putting
have
up.
been
That was a strip. Yeah, they had some cranes to put those things up.
yeah.
Yeah. It was quite a feat, but it's lasted. This was like 50-some years, and still good.
It's still good, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
once you got the structure, the dome up, or not the dome, but the arch, whatever, what happened then?
Well, then they could. I think they could start the rink part. They had to pour the floor, and of course you put the
Pipes?
piping in.
Yeah.
But I think at the time it was galvanized piping. PVC wasn't around then, and that's why some years later the galvanized with rust had to be replaced. But I remember they used these what they call buggies for concrete. The truck they didn't have a pumping system back in those days, and they had these buggies that they had to run and pour the concrete, and it was like probably 18, 20-hour job to do that. I tell you, those guys pushing the buggies, they earned their money that day. Concrete work is tough work, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the floor, in fact, they put what they call a poor man terrazzo floor. Figuring they're going to have roller skating, which never really took off. They did it for a while, John.
Yes,
the roller
they
skating,
tried.
but it was like a terrazzo floor. It was just as smooth as could be. And they used trap rock in it to make the so-called terrazzo floor, and it was a smooth floor.
Yeah.
And it was a single pour, and one thing with concrete, you got to keep it wet to cure. And luckily, we had time, to keep it wet. In fact, I think they had to put some salamanders in there because it came poured late in the year.
Okay.
To do it, but it just turned out well. Yeah.
So now, do you remember the first day they put ice in?
I don't remember the first day. Jim Long was arena director. Jim Long had retired from high school as athletic director and coach there, and he was appointed recreation director, I guess, and he was in charge of the rink. So they, I don't remember exactly. Well, we would open February, so probably in January when they started to flood the rink. Of course, it was cold enough then you could make ice. Yeah, and then of course you just did it with hoses.
And I would imagine there was a lot of interest while this was happening.
Oh yeah, everybody was there was. Everybody was just waiting for it to open.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'd be remiss if we didn't mention who played the first high school game at Massena Arena.
Well, it was scheduled. I don't know exactly when in February, middle of February probably. It was scheduled to open on a Saturday. Massena Central was scheduled to play on a Saturday, and everything was set up for that. But so happened on the Wednesday night, Holy Family, who played some of their games at Alcoa Field, was scheduled to play OFA, and lo and behold, it got warm. And I don't know if we might have played part of a period, and finally they said we couldn't. And Dave McClellan, of course, the coach of Holy Family, and I was running the game, and we couldn't play anymore. So I said to Dave, I said, maybe, the rink is ready to go. Maybe if I call Jim Long, he'll open the rink for us so we can play the rest of the game there. So I called Jim Long. He was a great guy. He was my high school football coach way back when. Yeah, he says, no reason we can't. I mean, it was all ready to go. So all the players and parents and so on traipsed over to the new arena. We played the game there.
No bleachers.
I don't know. I think no. I think we had to move the bleachers from Alcoa Field, John. There were a few bleachers.
Oh, okay.
There were, I think. I think we had to move them over there. Yeah. So played the game, and Holy Family beat OFA 4-1 or something.
Yeah,
like
Coach
that.
McLennan often tells me.
Oh, I'm sure Coach. Oh, yeah. I tell you, I watched him come in there. His eyes were as big as I ever saw his eyes. At the first time he'd been in, he had never been in during the building, he had never been in to the rink. And of course, at that time, the lighting was fantastic. It was one thing we pushed the architect, we want good lighting. A lot of the rinks, they had fluorescent lighting. Fluorescent lighting is not good in cold weather.
And not good for hockey.
No, it's not good
No.
for hockey either. So they put, they were 1,500 watt lights, and the lighting was excellent in there, and no shadows. That was another thing you wanted, no shadows in the rink. And then it was fantastic. And people just walked in, wooden structure, and artificial ice, which, boy, everybody was waiting for artificial ice. It was great. And then the next game was that Saturday when Massena, I don't remember who Massena Central played, but they played that Saturday. So that was the opening.
Yeah, I remember coming there when I was in high school. I graduated in '74, so I'm assuming it was either '73 or '74 that I came to watch Potsdam at Massena.
Okay.
Of course, Massena spanked us bad.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was like, wow. Because I'd been to Pine Street Arena.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with Pine
Oh,
Street
no,
Arena.
no,
but you don't get the same feeling as
No.
you do walking into Massena Arena.
No.
And in those days, and then I started working for the radio station up there, did a few games, and there was a scaffolding we broadcast from. Do you remember that?
Vic and I started with broadcasting. We had scaffolding we sat with 2x10s.
Yep, yep.
That was our broadcast booth.
But now there's a very nice broadcast booth.
Yeah, I got to say that Vic and I designed that.
I know that.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I appreciate it very much.
Well, we knew what we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted it big enough, and we put heaters underneath the seats.
Yes, you did.
And they're still there, I think.
Now, granted, Massena Arena is, you said the warmth, and there is a warmth there, but it's still cold.
It's still a cold building, that's right.
Okay, now let's talk about the lobby area. Was there a lobby area when it first opened, and was there a snack bar?
Yes, there was. That was part of it.
Yeah.
In fact, it was tossed around to put a second floor on there. But by the time we got some numbers back, it just financially it couldn't be done at the time. No, but it was looked at. So we built everything that's there now. We had the lobby, concession stand was there, the locker rooms were there. 4 locker rooms, which was great compared to what they used to before.
Right.
Yeah. So and the locker rooms were just bare, but they were fine. So
And that's when there was canvas to
We had
keep
canvas-
the outside
right,
out.
canvas on the side.
Now, how long did the canvas remain there?
I'm not sure. I think maybe 2 years. And then we decided, I don't know who we are, but to
A
lock
group
it
of
in.
you.
But block it in. But we still had to put it still had to be outside. So we put those fiberglass windows in that could be opened up to make sure that we went along with the outdoor recreation part of it. We didn't want them coming back and say, hey, we want our $350,000 back. And those things are still there.
Yeah.
The fiberglass, I thought they'd change them, but they haven't changed them.
No, they haven't.
No,
They're still
no, we
there.
put the block walls in, and my crew did it. Yeah, and a guy named Glenn Peach was my foreman. Randy Peach's father, and Glenn was a great guy. He could do anything. He was a good carpenter, good bricklayer, and he was in charge of it. He was a great guy. He was my foreman. Yeah.
So did your boys ever get to play in Massena Arena?
Oh, Mike played first game. Mike was playing for the Holy Family. He got the first Massena goal.
Hey, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that puck for a long time. I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared.
He took it, I think.
I think Mike took it. Yeah, I don't know. He probably took it. Yeah.
Well, that's great. But you said a lot of things remain the same. There have been some changes over the years. You mentioned the sides going on, but also they've improved.
Well, they had to put a new ice surface in
Yep, that's right.
20 years ago. So I was sort of clerk of the works then.
Yes. So talk a little bit about that project.
And they had leaks. And once you get a leak in the system, you got to replace the whole system. You can't really patch it to speak of. So I think the village, town, and rec commission said we got to replace it. So we tore up and new boards at the same time. Mm-hmm. New boards, new floor, and so on. And that's the one Larry Danko and his crew had that job. They did a good job on pouring the new floor.
And you use PCBs?
Yeah, they used the PVC. Yeah, Yeah, they used the plastic this time, and hopefully that's good for, I don't know. Right, and another thing we did, we rebuilt. Like I got a hold of Timmy Long. I said, "What do you want for boxes for the players?" Before, all we had is just a thing, and there was never room for extra goalies or anything. So between Timmy and myself, most of his, we redesigned those players' boxes, and they've got extra room, and we put different levels so the coaches could stand behind the players on the seat and see over them too. So
Well, what I'm hearing is that most of the design work was with the actual game of hockey in mind,
oh, absolutely.
and the broadcast booth with broadcasting a hockey
Oh
game
yeah,
in mind.
no, it's a hockey rink. I mean, it's used for other things, but it's primarily a hockey rink.
That's right. That's right. And the other things that have happened, of course, in memory of Mark Tayo, they put some new locker rooms in at the end for the Massena teams, boys
Right,
and girls.
those are fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they did a wonderful job.
Oh
on
no,
that.
Paris Excavating did a great job on that.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so a lot of things.
And they put
have-
new lighting in it. I haven't seen the new lighting. So, I mean, indeed, Machine
It's-
Electric, I
Yeah.
was involved in that.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were, and it's great.
Is it?
It's great.
Okay.
And the other thing about Massena Arena is the fact that the fans are on both sides,
That's
which
right.
is kind of unusual
Yeah.
around here for a smaller
Most rinks, you've seen live, seating on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just something special about that. The other thing that's happened, I think, was about 4 or 5 years ago. They put a new sound system in as well.
Yeah, the sound system was, we did one in the beginning, but it was a cheapie. We put in the sound system. But I guess now, and they tried to fix it, but they had to have a new system, I guess. So it's now, I understand it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. And we got a new scoreboard in.
I understand they got the new scoreboard.
Yeah.
And they put radiant heating in a number of years too, which
Yes.
helped in the bleachers.
Big time.
Oh,
help.
big time. Oh, yeah, for the fans. Yeah, that radiant heat worked well.
So all in
Yeah.
all, it's a great place to watch
It's
a hockey
it's
game.
a first class rink.
Yeah. So
For a so-called high school or minor hockey rink, it's just as good as a lot of college rinks.
So let's talk just quickly before we wrap up some of the recreation directors that have been in charge of this facility. Of course, I'm thinking of one in particular, rather tall individual,
Yeah. Big Paul.
big Paul
He was-
Patterson.
He comes to see me every year when he comes up to, his parents had a place on Black Lake, so Paul comes in every year to see me. Oh yeah, Paul he was Jim Long, and then we had another one.
Mike Keefe.
Mike Keefe.
Mike Keefe.
I
Mike
remember
was there.
Mike as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike was all right. Paul was better.
Paul was there a long time.
Oh yeah, Paul was there.
Not saying he's old, but he was there a long time.
He had to be there 20-some years, but
Yeah.
no, Paul was good. He's real active and real personable and
Right.
easy to work with, So,
And then we had Richie Beaupre
yeah,
briefly.
Richie was good.
Yeah. Richie was a heck of a hockey player too.
Richie played against you, Mike. Yeah, Norfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played at Clarkson as well.
Yeah, he did. Richie played
Yeah.
at Clarkson. Yeah, and then he got moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Florida. He got a job. Yeah.
And then the latest, of course, is Mike McCabe.
McCabe, yeah. So I don't know him personally. I remember his father, though, played for Clarkson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At the sports store in Potsdam.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
still do, actually.
Do they really?
Yeah, his brother is running it. But, Paul Patterson, he was so much fun.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know,
That's right. It was fun to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he used
He
to
was.
pick on me nonstop. I can't understand why.
Oh, he liked to do that. He liked to do that.
But I got him once good. Now, I don't know if you remember, but at the time, he was the recreation director in Massena. He was from Canton.
Right. Oh, yeah. Paul from
And
Canton.
Johnny Tayo from Massena was the recreation director in Canton.
Oh, no.
So I said one day on the air, I said, well, we made a big trade there, and Canton sure got the best of that trade. He called me a bad name.
I'm sure he did. Oh, yeah. No, Paul was great.
But it's important to recognize these guys
Oh, yeah.
because, they were entrusted
Right.
with taking care of
They're
this.
taking care of it. You have to maintain those. Every place, you have to maintain them over the
But
years.
we also need the support from the town and the village.
Oh, yeah. Town and village were really good at the time. They did their job.
And of course, the Rotary Club in raising the
Oh, yeah,
funds to get this started.
Oh, without them, it wouldn't have been built. Like you say, there was 220,000. That was a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can remember, stories or anything funny that happened at the arena that you might want to share with us?
No, I don't know.
We've seen some pretty darn good hockey games there over
Well,
the
back
years.
when it opened, and we had some big games, like when Massena and Placid, there'd be 1,000 people there.
Oh,
Hey, John?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yes.
there'd be a good 1,000 people at the rink.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
one playoff game. It was a divisional game, or intersect. What do they call that? The quarterfinals.
Right.
Messina was hosting Greece, and the Section 5 hockey chairman came up to the game, and I was talking to him in the lobby. He said, when I walked in this place and saw all these people, saw those banners, saw everything here, he said, that's high school hockey.
Oh, yeah.
And, but I remember many, many great hockey games in Massena Arena.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and everybody that came in, they liked it. They liked to play here. Well, my son, Tom played a lot of places. He said Massena has the best ice ever. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Plus, besides high school hockey, the minor hockey we talked about, but there's been some pretty good exhibition hockey games there as well.
Oh, yeah. We brought that
Canadians?
No, the junior team.
Oh, the junior, yes, that's
Back
right.
in-
But I remember
Yeah.
when the Montreal Canadiens, old timers came
Yeah.
a couple of different times.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I mean, you got to actually play against Guy
Yeah.
Lafleur and players
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
they used to be
Of course,
called
we had the junior team.
Turbines.
where
Yeah.
Turbines was on Jim Kelly and his turbine team.
Yeah.
and then they became the Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
And
then we had the juniors after. We had the junior team
and the
for a number of
junior
years.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, and we bring in a lot of these Canadian teams. Yeah, but sometimes when you bring these, you weren't sure who you were getting. But it was always good. Yeah, they were good years. They were fun
Yes,
years. They were
yes.
busy years.
And the arena continues.
Oh, it continues.
And it's going to
absolutely.
continue.
Yeah, it
You
was,
know,
it was a great location too.
Yep. And as we're
Yeah.
recording this, we're getting ready for our first high school game of the year,
That
which
must be
is
coming up
Wednesday.
shortly.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Oh, really?
Yep. They're hosting Tupper Lake on Wednesday.
Okay.
And, there's been already a lot of games in there, minor hockey. And, we had a scrimmage against Rice out of Vermont.
Okay.
You should be familiar with them.
Yeah.
On Friday night.
Yeah.
And so lots of hockey at
Oh, yeah.
Massena Arena.
Oh, you got to
Which-
mention too, Stan Moore. Stan Moore, of course, was high school coach forever.
Yeah.
And he played at Clarkson, and he was high school coach forever. Had a lot of good teams that played in the arena.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But he also coached in minor hockey.
Oh, yeah, no, he coached in minor hockey too. He had
He always did, yeah.
he had a squirt team that won the states one year when the Hull boys were playing way
Yeah.
back when.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam was
Andy was on that team.
he?
Yeah, some of those other minor hockey coaches, Bobby Smith, and
Oh, yeah.
Mike Zappia.
Oh, yeah,
and boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a lot of coaches.
Yeah, we can't
A
mention them all.
lot,
but-
a lot of dads were coaching too,
Yeah.
And if I was in charge of getting all the coaches, and I don't know if I ever had anybody tell me no. Actually, they were good.
All right, well, going to wrap it up then.
That
I
was
want to
great.
thank you so much,
Oh,
Reg.
I enjoyed it.
Not
I
only-
enjoy talking hockey.
Not only for this interview, but also for all you've done over the many years for Massena.
Yeah, you know what? It was all fun.
Yeah.
It was all
yeah.
fun.
Mr. Murray,
Yeah.
I would say the same for you.
Yeah.
Well,
We appreciate, of course, you're Rotarian of long standing. I won't say old, of long standing.
yeah,
And,
I came along a little bit later.
Massena Central School, principal. In fact, John hired my wife. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
She
gentlemen,
did us a favor by coming.
oh, well, I
She
appreciate it.
was a real plus.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Jerry.
Okay.